And then that's what I saw.
Okay, so you were kind of like, what am I doing? This is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
What's going on here? So you weren't necessarily full of fear. You weren't concentrating so much on, I'm not controlling my my actions.
Right.
You were more in the moment, like, what am I doing? This is wild. I just
Right.
woke up. Okay.
Right.
Very good. That's starting to explain it a little better there for me. Were there any people around? Were there witnesses to this event? Because when I think of alien ship coming in, or you walking down the middle of the street, dogs barking, there may have been some attention drawn to it. Did you hear anything about it or anything like that?
Well, I live in a city, and it's a city where you would think there's never going to be a UFO landing and no one ever see it. But where I live is like a nature preserve. It hasn't been touched since the neighborhood has been built, and it's a bike trail. There's animals in there. One day I'm going to email you the exact site on the on Google Maps, and you can zoom in, zoom out, and you'll be able to. I've done that before and showed people, and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. How the area is just full of trees. And it was under these big power lines. So I don't know how they got there and all that stuff, but that's just where it was. And to me, it's totally understandable where no one would see it, because over the levee where I live, there was nobody. So
okay.
You'll see.
So at this point, what we're describing, though, is that there was nobody around to see it. So this was in sort of a remote area. It was late at night. There's not going to be anybody on these bike paths. I know that in my area, at least, they close them down at night. You got danger zones there on the bike paths and stuff at night. So naturally, we have a situation where they chose a good spot. They probably knew what they were doing.
Right.
Is my first hit. So.
And the bridge I went over. The bridge I went over was crossing a creek, which turns into a river. If you go the other way, and you'll see all this. And that bridge literally is the only way to get over that river for at least a mile. So, I mean, it was a perfect place.
Yeah, maybe we'll put that up on Foil Hat Radio's group. I'm sure if you join Ricky on Facebook, it'll be up there too. But I'd like to go ahead and put that up, and I'll give people a description. So if you're not part of our Facebook group yet, go on there, Foil Hat Radio. You'll find us wearing our hats just like we do on the picture for the show. So anyways, that's just a little plug for the group. To talk a little more about the craft, Ricky, you say in the beginning of your YouTube series that you've never seen a UFO fly. You note at this point, though a black ball-shaped craft with no lights, did this craft approach you, or was this, say, parked on the ground?
It was already on the ground when I saw it.
Oh, I see. So it was sitting. That's why, hence, you haven't ever seen it fly per se above you or something. You're not a
right. And what was crazy, like I said, the way they nailed me down, the only way for me to see it was to look perfectly straight, because it was like nothing but trees, and they put me where it was like a tunnel of openings where I could see totally on the other side of the trees through these little openings through 2 or 3 trees. There was an opening I could just see all the way through, and it was there. And that's when I was like, what the hell is that? At this time, I still didn't know what was going on. I didn't say, ooh, a flying saucer, because it wasn't flying. I thought it was a building or something. A little round building. I always say as big as a shack. Some rich people will have in their backyard. They will put like lawnmowers in and tools and stuff like that, but a nice one. You can walk in, kind of like a little shed.
Okay, how many people could fit in it? Say it's a shed, and I'm going deer hunting with me and my buddies, and we need to stay in that shed. How many buddies would I bring along with me and be comfortable?
How tall are you?
Well, I'm not too tall, man. I'm like right between 5 and 6 foot.
Comfortably?
Yeah, we're not big guys.
Or just
is it like a 4-man? Like, is it a 4-man car?
No.
Deal?
It wasn't even built. It wasn't even built for me. When I got in, I had to duck my head, and when I got in, I wasn't standing up because there was like a little space in there. It's hard to explain, and it was just I was squatted down the whole time, and then I was down on one knee again, I was down on one knee again, looking straight at the wall, and they were behind me, and that's when I started asking them where they taking me and stuff.
Okay. So what were your feelings at this? Seems to be the moment when the question, what's going on here, is answered. This is an encounter with the UFO, of course. Were you captivated, excited? Were you scared of what was going on? What was it, just a surrender kind of feeling? I'm in this situation. They've got me. How did you feel?
Oh, it's funny because at this time I still didn't know what was going on, because I didn't see the two beings. I would just walk by them. I just, like I said, I couldn't turn my head to the left or right. And I didn't know what was going on. And I saw, as I woke up, I was literally maybe three steps from walking in it. So I didn't get a chance to really see the two. So when I walked in, I knew they walked in behind me. And at this time, I thought they were people, like humans. And I instantly asked, where are we going? So I asked where we going. I didn't know if it was a car. I didn't know what. I definitely didn't know it was going to go flying anywhere.
Sure.
So I thought they were going to I thought they were just taking me somewhere. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So at this point, you know, two notably ugly beings were on either side of you at the entrance of the ship. Was there, say, a hatch door to the ship, or one would open the door per se, or did this door manifest itself, or did like a hole appear in the ship? I'm wondering about their technology at this point. How did you get into that ship?
Right. I just walked in the little, like a square hole.
Okay. Was it like a hatch? Was it like what we would make here on Earth that would have a hatch?
Like if you crack the egg shell and open the eggshell and walked in and then close the eggshell back up, something like that you're talking about?
Well, yeah, something like that. Maybe on the
like
the side
door.
of the plane, or think of the trunk on a car.
You know,
when you shut it,
I really don't want to get too deep into that because I really didn't see it. So I'd have to really think about it.
I can understand. Plus, it's quite the situation. I don't think that you may not be breaking down. Oh, I got to check out this door. I was just wondering.
Yeah, you'll.
Okay.
Yeah, no. You'll see that a lot in here. There's a lot of simple things I didn't pay attention to.
No, I can understand. And most people, when they say it's a different game of chess from the other side of the board, per se, is a saying. And what that means is when I'm thinking of what I would do in your situation, I wouldn't know what I would actually do in that situation unless I was there. So, to say that I'm going to pick out all this and this is crazy, this is not crazy to not see this or that, I think that's a little ludicrous. But so we're going with your experience, and I was just asking what was going on there. So you then walked into the craft and assumed this one-knee pose again. Is there any significance to the pose in the craft versus outside, or is this just maybe I'm being redundant with that question?
No, it's a good question. I don't know really. On the ground, like I said, outside they made me do it like a little tripod to aim me right at the seat. When I went in, I was crouched down because I'm not small enough to stand up in there. I was too tall.
So you weren't.
I don't know if there's any significance.
Sort of position that they made you assume. You were just kind of bent down because of the size of the craft, or where you were to take your position in the craft per se, or where you were hustled over to. So at this point, you asked, "Where are you going?" And you said this verbally to the beings. I understand. Were you then given control over your functions, or did you? Or do you feel that your curiosity or mental need to speak broke their control of just the mouth so that you could, per se, speak to the individuals or the beings?
No. I used telepathy, but I didn't know I was using telepathy. I thought I was talking at the time. That was my first form of communication with them. And again, I didn't know what was going on, so when I told them that, and when they answered me, I thought it was going through my ears. I thought it was audio. But it wasn't, still at this time.
Okay, so it's almost like it's how they communicate. So you picked up on that, and And
right,
instinctually gave it back. That's interesting as far as our links, to other beings and our abilities, but that's a whole other topic. So you're off to the moon, they say. How did you feel about this announcement? I've never been abducted, so I might say that I'd feel excited for the opportunity to go to the moon or to be in the presence of other beings. I realize, though, many describe this remark as kind of, and for lack of a better way to put it, asking to be raped